Dear friends, I'm glad to meet everybody on Fagin Live channel. It is 11 p.m. in Kiev and Moscow, Monday, 4th of April, and we, as usual, with Alexey Arestovich, are doing our daily cast. Glad to see you, Alexey. Likewise. So we have 75, actually more, 80,000 people watching us that late. Thank you for joining us, and please post links to this cast on your social media and subscribe to Fagin Live and also Alexey Arestovich on his channel. So we call this cast Day 40. We should probably start with what is happening in Bucha now. We started yesterday, but it seems like it's going to be a long playing theme. The horror of that crime is rather visible now. Today, President Vladimir Zelensky went there. As we understand now, it probably will lead to a big international investigation. Do you have an estimate what that can lead to in the military sphere? I think there probably will be three circumstances. First of all, Ukraine is going to get heavier armaments because it is hard to stay neutral after Bucha. Your electors have seen that and likely will be asking questions. Why are you not doing anything? And yesterday's simultaneous tweet by Scholz and Macron also showed that very moderate politicians have to react to the horror of what was discovered. Also sanctions. Sixth package was barely moving. Now it's pretty much done, and they're already working on the seventh. It includes more people from the inner circle of Putin, banks, and a very serious consideration is given to European full refusal to buy any sort of Russian petrol product. And the third is the international isolation, which is growing. Russia tried to call for United Nations Assembly related to Bucha, and it was neglected, but it was called for later with the British agenda. So another factor is that Brits, who are usually very careful about the Security Council, are calling for it. And Russian Federation, I don't know, but they may actually get kicked out of United Nations. They're playing with fire here. They're a big member, but Bucha is not everything. Gostomel and Irpin and also Borodyanka is coming out now, and they're saying Borodyanka is worse than Bucha. And there are tens of other settlements in Ukraine where people are saying mostly it's military and military intelligence who are there. They're reporting they're bad. What they've seen, they're saying Bucha has nothing on those places. So imagine what will happen if more data like that sees the light. If there are tens of cases like that. It does not then look like a single incident. It appears to be a systemic error with the Russian Federation, and Putin turns into a war criminal, and his regime is a war criminal regime. If there was a question before that Russia could be some sort of partner, maybe somehow normalize relations with Russia, and Putin may be a partner, right now, one of the tasks that most of the leading countries are setting in front of themselves is helping the world to get rid of Putin's government. And these sanctions are being pushed not just by the countries of the West. Do you think the tribunal will be a special Ukraine tribunal or in some international terms? I think it'll be similar to Yugoslavia tribunal. I don't think anybody will let this slide because, 10-year-old kids raped. Is there any commission that is investigating it now? We do have criminalists who are gathering data, but it takes time because we do have landmines and a lot of undetonated ordnance. But as we can get to some buildings that we find families where parents and kids are holding hands and were executed, or women who were raped and then attempted to be burnt and then ran over by tanks. What we see in Gerashenko's photos, there is a grave that was dug, and there is a head of the settlement, head of the village. Mashun, she was the head of the village, and she was executed with her husband and kids. As far as I know, there are more things to verify, but it's evening, and my head is real heavy right now after everything that happened today that I've witnessed. I'm trying to recall, so if I misstate something, that's not with an evil intent. So that family was executed, one of the administrators and her family. Also, I've seen another family today. They were taken out of the car and executed, laying next to the vehicle. Many things like that in Bucha too. So what do you think? Do you think it was a direct command, direct order, or is it just soldiers going crazy? So as we see, there were 3 stages there. First stage is when they just got there. Russian troops just got to town, to the settlement. So they're shooting everything that moves or looks suspicious. Somebody comes to the window. They think it's a sniper. Second step is mass graves. They've dug graves, and that's where they were burying people that they executed. So that's systemic approach. And the third one is when they were leaving and they were basically given carte blanche to do whatever they want. Regarding the problem with the command, the troops were leaving, Russian troops, as we discussed, were leaving highly organized. They were living in an organized manner, at least initially. So they have not lost command. And if they have not lost the command, then everything they've done was according to the orders. The head of British intelligence stated today that they have data that it was organized politics of Russian army to behave in a certain way and kill civilians, and including rape. So do you think Ukrainian special services may end up catching somebody from these detachments? Well, most of these detachments left the country. If they enter it back again, maybe we can get somebody. But they would need to confess, and what would they confess to? That they were strangling women and burning them and raping children? Who would be talking about that? Is there any identification who has done what? Any photos, videos from the territory? Well, right now we already know not just detachments, but we also know commanders of every single detachment. And it's possible we'll find all the soldiers and continue the investigation. So, what's important for that investigation is to identify the culprits, and that's the word that we mostly hear from the West and from our own criminalists: identification. And we'll be collecting that data any way we can. It is a very thorough and thankless job, but we'll get there. All right, I got you. We'll be returning to this matter later in different casts, because it is basically genocide by the looks of it. It is a sad subject to discuss, but we do need to look into that and find who can be punished for the crimes. So let's get back to agenda. There are new rumors that there is a next advancement, next offensive near Kharkov. Ask Arestovich. Our viewers are asking what he thinks. So, what is the operative development in that area? What should be expected? And you know what people are basically curious. What will happen? Will the occupants reach their town? Will it fall? Are they in danger of losing their lives and their kids? I can say one thing. Plans does not mean they will come true. I'm quite sure that Kharkov and the whole Ukraine will keep getting shelled by Russians, but it is a militarily unsolvable task to take Kharkov right now. Remember we talked yesterday about the offensive date being pushed 3 times to the right? Because it is such a hodgepodge of troops that you need the talent of Napoleon and a couple of weeks of time to hopefully make some semblance of a fighting mechanism together. Because it's airborne troopers, Marines, training detachments. Each of them is in a different state. Some of them are beaten up and almost disbanded. Others are brand new who just arrived with big eyes looking at everything that's happening in horror. It is a gargantuan task to organize these troops into a single unit responsive to command. If perchance they manage to get something together by 13th, and every day they're throwing new data saying that they're trying to advance, they will advance in the next 24 hours. Personally, I do not see that opportunity in their hand, and if it gets delayed further, then with the speed of international isolation and the stance that Europe and states are taking now in supporting with weapons in an expedited manner, because I don't think any of the politicians can answer the question why he's not doing anything to stop that war. So, which capture of Kharkov, which offensive? On the other hand, they could try, they could still do it, but they seriously lack the resources to take that city. And it doesn't appear that they will be able to gather that force to take the city in any effective manner. And Kharkov is also not being idle. People there saw what they're facing, what is a good way to defeat Russian army. They're getting more ammo, more weapons to resist. So they will be shelling, and they are shelling still. That'll stay a risk for a while. All right, we're 14 minutes online. What about Kherson? We touched upon it. The story in Bucha also drew our attention. So what is happening with Kherson? It's been occupied by Russia for a while. What is the perspective there? So in Kherson we also have mass murders. There is no, we don't know yet, at least, about assassinations of civilians, but they have assassinated, executed ex-military businessmen who refused to give them their spaces, people whom they didn't like, and some politicians. So, yeah, now they're digging graves for mass burial. But in any case, this situation looks a little better than the one that they used to scare people more. We also have to understand that Ukrainian resistance is in full right now. So another factor is I think they're afraid to use harsh strategies in Kherson because perhaps they're hoping to keep it. And you don't use certain things in the areas that you think you will keep. So we'll see. What about the situation in Mariupol? There's that fucker, I forgot his name. Basurin. He said that most of the city is taken, Mariupol. There is just a seaport and a factory. I can say that our troops are holding huge buildings, like factories, ports. They're essentially fortified fortresses. It's really going to be hard to take them. And Russian troops also appear to have exhausted themselves, and they through additional detachments into that region. But it shows that even Mariupol, with all the weight of Russian troops there versus their proportion is horrible, but it still has a chance to stand. And in the east, there'll be a heavy fight. You know, every evening I'm online with Mariupol through some friends and agents who are there. There's heavy fighting happening, but they're not advancing to take that quarter or the next street or the next building. The Russian army is fighting, but that's about it. It doesn't seem that they have enough fresh resources to continue losing people in advance. And Russian soldiers are also a bit demoralized. Even in the directions where they have advantage, numerical advantages, times over us. And we're not sitting on our hands doing nothing. We do something in Zaporozhye. We're also helping on the communication lines. Our artillery is helping. We cannot do the full deblockade, but the situation is definitely getting better. And Mariupol still remains a zone that draws a lot of attention, a lot of forces of Russian Federation onto itself. All right, so my next question is about the OOS zone, the Lugansk, Donetsk area, the Eastern Front. And I see people discussing, again, an opportunity of encirclement and creating a trap for Ukrainian army. What would you say about it? We've been discussing that same subject for about 3 weeks. And that second phase that is about to start after which we gave it more time and 2 more weeks. This is the attempt to surround our troops in that zone. It includes southwest of Lugansk region, near Lysychansk, where they're trying to advance. There's also Izum in the north that is still being held in place. Avdiivka and that region. But they're not really successful in doing it. There is a pause, regroup, and that mix of troops they have, it is not an easy task, and we're not doing nothing. We're preparing surprises for them as well. And we're discussing it, so this also reprograms the situation a bit. If it is discussed in advance, maybe something will change. Yeah, remember Buddhist saying, demon named loses half of its power. Exactly. So in reality, to imagine the push, the sudden tactical plan that is utterly successful for Russian Federation, where they claim some big chunk of land or some unexpected plan of Russian command, Russians grabbing a piece of land in that zone? No. We have a much higher situational awareness. We are on our own land, trees and grasses are talking to us. So the greenery that you're talking about, does it provide you more effective option for actions throughout the whole front, from Kharkiv all the way down to Mariupol or Kherson? Does it provide you equal advantage everywhere? South, for the most part, are steppes, but even there are some trees and some shrubbery that can obscure the movement of special forces. But as for the north, Kharkiv, that's complete forested land. That's where we get all the advantages of the greenery. Not immediately. Good greens will probably take about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. South will grow a little faster, but it's much less greenery there. All right, we'll switch to political part. I don't know how right I was or not right in my skeptical assessment of the negotiation process. So right now, sometime after the meeting in Istanbul, about some notes that Kadyrov was giving out, and he even harassed Peskov a little bit that he is defending wrong people. So in your opinion, the negotiation process, is it going right? And it does appear that Putin might not be doing actively now, but is he? Oh yeah, he is. He is just trying to trade for a stronger position. But he is indeed trying to get himself a good agreement. So where can he go after Bucha? Like, what if he goes to a different place and somebody really upset will finish him from behind the corner? So what is an exit for him? To sit in a bunker for the rest of his life and try to fight? You gotta manage. In order to manage your troops, you need to be closer to it. If you're completely withdrawn from the operational command, people will start asking questions like, why are we at least not trying to do this or that? And understandably, the overall big scheme of things will not change too drastically, but you can still win some advantage. So, the 9th of May, let's get back to that. In my understanding, it's a strategically important date for him. I don't think he will do anything based on the current success. He'll try to pin his operation that is starting or coming in a few days to his goals and try to get something from that situation. We already talked about what can he sell, and like if you're surprised at what he can sell, he's got some things. He can sell some advancements, some locales. And what if you celebrate on the 9th and then on the 10th you get kicked back, pushed back? One thing is if you sell the actual operation where you got to Kiev and you got to Zelensky's office, used his bathroom, and then you changed your mind and left. But what can you sell in the Eastern Front? I would not know what to say. It'll be up to him, and Personally, I would be selling some internal victory, because if there is no visible victory in the Ukraine, you need to sell another victory within the country, and we've talked about that several times, so what's the point? All right, let's see how things will be happening, because they're not too creative. They might invent something really poor. We're 26 minutes live. Do you have more time? Yeah, one more question. All right, let's discuss those people from Mariupol that were moved into Russian Federation. Today, Vereshchuk said that it's over 40,000 people. We think at least it's about 60,000, but we could verify at least 40 of them. Do you have any information about them? No. And Ukraine cannot really help them on the territory of Russia, so we are trying to help through representatives of third countries and other organizations who are operating in Russia. And that seems to work for now. Some churches are involved. All right, so chances for them to come back to the west of Ukraine, or maybe Europe, to the other countries, they are still there, right? Because how I see, they could possibly be used to swap with other imprisoned servicemen of Russian Federation. What if you select 2,000 or 3,000 of these and call them the SBU special agents or undercover? But, we have said we would like to trade all for all without being picky. Did you get any reaction from the Russian side? What if they still want to do that sort of SBU people trading? Well, the thing is, we know who is our service people, and we will not go along pretending. So, the president announced another principle that we're pushing for. We just exchange all for all. Almost 250,000 people watching our cast live. We're going to have another show tomorrow at the same time, right? I see you need to get some rest, so tomorrow you can come back to these subjects. So we're thankful to you for your participation in this show. Thank you, Alexei. Please subscribe to this channel. It is important for us to try to spread this information far and wide, and of course to Alexei's channel as well. Goodbye, everybody.